Greetings, viewers, and thanks for joining me out in the shop today. Got the third gen up on jack stands, wheels off. It's been secured. I've given it the shake test. I'm ready to put those new CVs in. That's some heavy-duty CVs. I'm going to explain to you what I've learned about them as I'm putting them in. As I go, I'm going to answer a couple of 3 questions I've been asked a few times about the truck while I'm working on it, and maybe go over my build a little bit and play ball with the dog a little bit, because I'm getting ready to go wheeling again tomorrow. So I guess it's good I didn't clean my truck off, because it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow, so it's just going to get either filthy or cleaned off, one or the other. If you see that thing hanging down underneath, that's part of my gas tank strap. I'll go over that as I go over a few other things on the truck for people who've been watching and asking questions. Last time out in the mud, I've told you before, I buy air cleaners by the handful. You can see in there just a little bit without the light. I flooded that air box. I was on Amazon searching for filters, and I got these Bosch for $1.99 a piece for Bosch air filters. So it pays to search all the time, even when you don't need them. I was able to get 4 of those for $8, so that's a heck of a deal. I got my impact down here, my 14 socket for the nuts, hammer, because you'll need it, a pry bar, the big socket, which is 35 millimeter from the factory, 36 on a lot of aftermarket ones, and my little pliers to get the cotter pin out. They can be the toughest part of the job, I ain't kidding you. Fortunate today it's not too cold. It's been really cold. That's why I haven't washed my truck, and the holidays and other things such as that. If you've seen my video on how to change these, I appreciate all the likes and comments and views that's gotten. That was one of my really early videos. Now you can see that's a little tiny bit loose. That's a 36. If I said 26, I meant 36. You knew that. But it works every time. If you don't have an impact, just stick a screwdriver in there. Get you something with the breaker bar capabilities, whatever combination you got to come up with. And break that dude loose. It can be done without an impact, but I like to use the impact. There's definitely some dirt and rust on the end of that. I hope this nut will fit the new axles, because the new axle nut size is much larger than the axle nut size here, which the outside of it. So I'm hoping this will fit. I'm going to check that real quick. It does. So I'm going to reuse the nuts I'm taking off versus the nut that they supply with it. This job is not very difficult. If you've never done it and you're watching for the first time, I hope you realize it's not that bad. The element of your friends razzing you out on the trail will not be there. If you're doing this at home. These are 14s on the bottom of the ball joint. Some people say you need to replace those after every time you change a ball joint, but if you break CVs, or every time you take them out, if you break CVs out on the trail, unless you're carrying extra brand new bolts with you, you're going to find yourself reusing these. Sometimes, in my case, 2 or 3 times. I do like on the third gen, you don't have to turn the wheel to get to the nuts on either side. On a Tundra, you do. Now you know that. Okay, you can see how that already has fallen out ordinarily, or sometimes rather, you might have to punch that out. Now this is a good CV. It doesn't have any excess slop or yuck in it. We'll clean my creeper off here. Get under there and pop this one out. So yeah, you could do this out on the trail. I know I just cleaned it out and I'm doing this. Ordinarily I would spray all this crap out, but like I said, I had a bunch of reasons why I didn't this time around. None of them good. But I'll use them all. There's a nut or a bolt head that holds your front of your your differential on here. I just get right behind that nut. Whoa, that one come right out. Give it a pop. I'm losing just a little drip or two of juice on this side. I have had these apart several times. See, that one's in good shape. Nothing loose or sloppy. That's a keeper for a spare. Try to get all the dirt off because those two pins have to line back up. Now say you were out on the trail though and you didn't have some grease right handy. You can stick your finger in your differential there and generally get enough residual goo on your finger to moisten that back up. Hopefully your seal is good and lubed anyway. Now this ring on the end right here, it's always a good idea to hang it in the down position. It gives you the least resistance, and that's with the C, the open part, down. If you slather some grease around that, 2 or 3 places, you can kind of suspend that up like that. You can see, I hope you can. And that's going to make that easier to beat in there. Ain't sure what I was thinking when I put that little hammer out for this job. Now it's easy enough to just feed this through. Try not to get any dirt on it. Shoot it right back in there where it came out. Line her up nice. Now I like to put the nut on. Maybe not backwards. It doesn't want to do that, but I bring it right past the end. Again, I hope you can see what I'm doing. To right there, it's got a little knurl on, or a little clean spot on the end of it there. And with that C-clamp, wow, these have a lot of play in that joint. Excuse me, let me get my grease out of the way before I put my hand in it. Yeah, I'll show you that on the next one. That big fat part, the ball, it has it's a square inside a square inside that. Excuse me, and it helps it slide. There we go. Okay, just get up in there and look, make sure your dust cover's flat against your differential side. Yeah, see, make sure your dust cap fits up nice and tight against your differential. This is the bolt head that I usually put my pry bar up against. Now these are smooth and there's nothing to grab where the dust shield is. It could be interesting to try to get one of those out on the trail. I hope I don't have to find that out. Now, when I get that other one over there that's broke, and I've got another end over here I can show you, I'm not going to take a boot off of these to show you because that'd void my warranty on them. But these have 8 balls in the ball socket on both ends versus 6 like the factories have. Right, Oswald? And Oswald says 8 balls are better than 6 any day. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm going to find out. I like the fact that they cycle in and out in the shaft. I don't know if that's going to present a weak point or not, Be sure to grease this part here where your seal is and where your seal rides before you put that back in. Gonna do that here real quick. Oops. I'm interested to see how these will work. I have been looking at them. You can buy them. I saw at least 4 different places. I've had viewers comment that they've seen them even other places under different names, but basically found the same information I did, that they're all made by the same company. They're sold under different prices. Some say it's because of the warranty offered, but they have lifetime warranty from the manufacturer. The ones I got off Rock Auto did anyway. So don't trust me on your warranty. Look at it before you buy it. The ones I bought said lifetime warranty. So that. Now because of my lift and all, well, you got everything off, is a good time to check all your suspension play. Now you can check better by, moving it other than just by your hands. I'll check that tie rod end and ball joint when I lift this up. You can tell if you've got something obviously broken or bad while I got them apart. I like to knock dirt in my grease, especially to prove a point. So don't knock dirt in your grease, but inspect your other moving pieces over here while you're at it. You'll be glad you did. If you still have your junk ass ABS hooked up and working, be careful that you don't damage a tone ring when you put this axle back in. You have to turn it a little bit to get your splines lined up. Boom, shakalaka, there she goes. Nut back on. Now I may need my jack to get my ball joint to come up high enough and meet because of my extended shocks. Keep that surface clean, remember. Might want to pick all your dirt and shit off before you start this project. Now, that could be done with a Toyota bottle jack out on the trail. So if you got your truck high lifted up by either one of your bumper or your sliders, you could do your, Toyota bottle jack. Oh, see, there goes a dust cover. If your dust cover falls off, you just pound it right back on there. No problem. I'll put all that out of my way here. This job really only takes a matter of minutes. You see it's like 5 bolts. So now mind your jack stand as you're raising that up to meet. You know they got those little sleeves in there that have to be lined up. Can be a little tricky sometimes to get them started, but you'll feel it when it drops down in there. Well, let's see, trust the back of my head when I tell you. This job isn't really that difficult. Getting them all started. I like to run at least one of them all the way in to hold it into place while I get my wrench. These should be torqued. No, that's the only one I can reach. These should be torqued. I posted up twice what I thought the torque spec was, and both times I've had people tell me I'm wrong. So you look up your own torque spec. You got your Google machine right there. Wait till my video is over though. Torque them to 89 pounds. That's what I believe they should be torqued to. This nut out here, I torque to all my gun has. That much. There's my dust cap. Does not give you a new dust cap with that nut, but that's okay too. I scooped my cotter pin off in the dirt, so I got to dig that up here real quick. Okay, well, I really should have showed you digging through the dirt for that dang cotter key. Yeah, I never did find it, and I dug through the dirt right here where I knew it was. So that's just like a real trail fix. I do actually carry more of them with me. Now, if you got one and it's too little, spread it open real big and then give it a little bend back together, like let that piece go over it, and then, yeah, kind of see what I did there to make it bigger and fatter. And that way it won't pull through if you got one. This one is okay, but I just wanted to show you that. So if you get one, and then once you get it in there, bend it over at the bottom. And then you can grab this part here at the top and like fold it forward. Yeah, you get the idea. So you can make one that's too little work. Like I said, fighting this daggone cotter key can be the toughest part of the job. That doesn't say much for my mechanical skills, does it? So tighten up all of your bolts. Get your torque wrench, tighten them to the torque you want. If you're out on the trail, give them a decent, couple ugga-duggas so they don't fall out, and pay attention. I'm going to jump over to the other side and show you that. This doesn't really take that long. I've had some people ask me about running 35s and did I tub in here? No, I did not tub. Should I patch this? Yes, but that's not the point. I come back about even with where this body mount is, which turns out to be about 2 inches back this way. And then I come up about 2.5 inches, and then I just connected the dots and cut that off. The fender's trimmed way more than it needs to be. I took a hammer and beat this pinch weld back from here down, and this pinch weld back that's right here, that's been punched back a little bit. Make sure you check your kick panel off and check behind there. If you do that, you're going to have to trim your kick panel a little bit because you deform the floor that much. My tires are 35, 12, 5, 16. That's where they rub. That's where they rub on the front. You can see a little bit, but they don't catch on things. I did rip my canister off here, my vacuum canister. It makes my 4-wheel drive work. So mine's wired in direct to the vacuum to the switches up here. So whenever it's running, it's holding vacuum. Man, that's a mess. I ain't ashamed. But anyway, that's how I did my trim there. And my tires measure 34.5 tall. So that's what I did there. And I get minimal rubbing, 3-inch backspace on my wheels. They're a 16 by 8 with a 3-inch backspace. Okay, so that's finished up. That really didn't take that long. I'm really excited to see how these do. I'm gonna jump over to the other side and do that one real quick and talk about some other crap on my truck. All right, just a little bit of my Carol Merrill impression here. This CV, heavy duty, extended travel. It doesn't say for long travel, and it doesn't say not for long travel. But the reason this part here is so fat, inside that's cut like a square. And the shaft that has the balls on it here is cut like a square. And not only do they slide in and out like a square drive shaft, that's not phallic at all. Do they slide in and out like a square drive shaft? On each side there's also a ball bearing that rides in a shaft that also locks them together. So 4 splines with the ball down the middle, and maybe multiple. I can't recall, probably multiple I'm saying, not just one. So anyway, so that slides in and out to give you extended travel. Now they say their ends are also extended travel, as they have 8 ball bearings in here versus 6. Now my right side one, I've been wheeling it with that torn boot and it's been clicking because it's got mud and water in it at least twice. I'll tear that apart and show you the 6. Well, I think I broke the inner end though. But anyway, that's supposed to be what makes these so extra heavy duty. I mean, they're supposed to be made of really great metal as well. I can't wait to find out. I do have 2 spares just in case, but I really don't think that's going to be an issue. But I wanted to explain what it is that makes those heavy duty. All right, back from playing with the dog. I'll move all my stuff to the other side. I really like those tires. I've had somebody ask me about that. I don't get viewer mail, but I get questions, and sometimes the same one repeatedly. I try to answer, I do answer every comment, but I've had questions on my Instagram as well. And if other people might be wondering but don't want to leave a comment, those are kind of a generic tire. They were the least expensive 35-inch tire I could find. How are they? Ironman all country mud terrains. Isn't that sad that I had to look at them and see what they say? I knew, but I just couldn't think of it. Too much pressure, man, pressure. All right, I'm not gonna lose this one in the dirt. I'm gonna put it over here with my lug nuts. This cap, so same process for removal. Should probably spray that because it's so rusty. This one came right off with no struggle. Again, I'm reusing that. And you jump right under this. And you reverse those out of here. 1. Up. And that one was not tight. I lost one on here one day. Wonder how. Hey, I did torque them down. You can see the torque wrench over there. And that one also not tight. So, good time to be changing this axle out, huh? Oh man, that one just looks terrible. All right, come on now. A little stuck in there. Huh. All right, that tie rod end joint seems a little loose. It is loose. It has some play. I'm going to grease that because it's a greasable one. So I keep my eye on that. I do have an outer tie rod end that has some play. That was pretty obvious right off of the get-go. This axle, look at that. Holy cow, that thing is froze. Do you see that? I can't even move it. And this ain't even the torn end. I'm gonna dissect this on the bench. I want to see what's happening there. Okay, so enough about that part. Pry bar, end of axle. This one is suspending itself up off the A-arm even. Same thing over here. There's also a nut or a bolt head you can get up against and give her a good pop. Oh, hey buddy. Get some help from your dog, from your handsome dog. Help me, handsome dog. No. No. I was kidding. Okay, your handsome dog is really no help at all, but he likes to try. Okay, I should pop that a little further out. You can do that from out here though. There we go. I'm gonna take this over to the bench real quick. We'll take a break. And I'll do it at the end so I don't have to take a break. Yeesh. Man, it was so muddy when we went last time. I like to say I hate mud, which I do. Man, in two-wheel drive, romping around in the mud. It's fun. We had a couple guys with us with open diffs, and yeah, we had a great time. Badlands Off-Road Park. That's where I'm going tomorrow too, also, which time you see this will be after that. But hopefully I'll get some videos maybe to post up if you like watching those. Oh, excuse me. Both of these came with bent dust covers, which is not really a big deal because I just took them off and straightened them out. You can pop your other ones off, the CVs you just pulled, and use them. I'm looking at my grease dripping out, and it does not look wet, which is good. If you're going to go out and play in the mud, make sure your axle vents are working. But this is what it'd be like if you had to do this out on the trail. Don't forget to grease this thing if you got grease available, and then just suspend it right in the middle to make it easier. This side here always seems to be just a little bit harder to get, in my opinion. It takes a second to get it seated up there where you want it. Now, since these got the movement, try to compress it as much as possible before striking it with your BFH. Don't tell me that one went already. That one went already. So, ain't you kind? So, this one's going a little faster. Keep track of your cotter key. Grease this bad dad up here. There's a rubber seal on this end too, so make sure you get that as well. And get plenty all the way around. Yeah, just like that. And crap out of this. Clean all the crap out of that, which I didn't do on the other side. Oh man, my brakes are getting low on the front. Might be time to do brakes on this before too long. Bring this back around. Yes, this would be the right time to change that tie rod end, but I don't have one. And it really doesn't matter. I will grease it though while I'm out here working on stuff. Let me go ahead and get those that jack over here so I can get my bolts started. Oh dang, could almost pull this one down far enough. I had done this out on the trail before without jacking it up. Come on, baby, slip in there. You can tell when they slip into place. There, I got it. Oop, there's the bolt. Get my bolt started here. The actual act of changing the CV is easy and fast. It's all the other little shit you gotta fart with, like lining these bolts up just right. Hold your mouth just right. You'll get it. Oh, and I said 89 pounds. I do 85. I know it's not that big a difference, but I do 85 pounds on my ball joint bolts. Two of them were loose though this time when I got in here, so maybe that's not right. This truck gets used primarily for off-roading now. Because I have the full-time, that's another thing somebody asked me about. I have a regular J-shift transfer case, two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, no in between. no multi-mode, no button, no center diff lock. You're not supposed to exceed 45 miles an hour in that situation. According to the plaque on the window visor, do not exceed 45 mile an hour in four-wheel drive. Well, I got a front locker and no lockouts, so I'm actually spinning my driver's side axle and my driver's side drive shaft, getting warm, every time the truck is in motion. So I'm free spinning my chain when it's not in four-wheel drive. My four-wheel drive chain is just freewheeling in there. Allegedly that's bad. I put about 1,000 miles on this truck, but I haven't gone. I only went on the highway with it one time, and that was 2 hours though each way basically. And it's still together. It doesn't whine, but you can't really go over 45 mile an hour because it starts vibrating. I even took the front drive shaft out, still vibrating. Enough about that. Now, I just got to put my cover and my cotter key, torque those 4 bolts, putting those new CVs to the test. Don't forget to cover up your grease. 85. Again, that's my choice. That's not what I'm telling you to do. For the guy that asked me, do I know how to use a torque wrench? I do. I get 99% of my comments are freaking awesome, and I love it, and I appreciate them all. Occasionally somebody's got to yell at me about something. Torque wrench was one of them. I'm okay. Okay, so let's go dissect that one on the bench, see what's wrong with it. Yeah, did that. Dust cap, cotter key, might as well just finish it all up here real quick, like several sections or selections for your cotter key on your cap. This has got a great freaking big one. All right, bolting the tires on, setting her down. We're ready to go wheeling tomorrow. Whoop, I can't do it, but I'll keep an eye on that tie rod end. Over here, about the same rubbage as the other side, but a little less. But yeah, that doesn't take a whole lot of modifications to fit 35s on these. Before I get over there to the bench, I've talked about that, putting the fuel cell in the back and building the firewall and such. Seems like every time I wheel this, it holds less. I don't even know if you can tell that how damaged this is. It's almost level with the frame rail all the way down. It is really taking it tough. That's actually the insulator, the rubber insulator on there. Yeah, all my armor's doing great, but I didn't armor the gas tank because I had planned on wanting to move it anyway. Where I spared you the struggle of watching me get those things off of there. Holy crap. Those are fighters, those factory freaking metal clamps, but I got them off. This end here was the dry end. I thought this is the end that was clicking. This is the boot was torn. Oh yeah, look at that. That is water and sand, no grease whatsoever. So that's a self-destroyed CV there. That's what wheeling with your boot torn does for you, if you were ever in question. That is mud and yuck in that CV. That's a boot that's torn. Hopefully I can save this bell, because my broke ones here, my little wall of shame, I got this broken bell that broke on the inside of the passenger side. This broken bell that broke off on the inside. I'm sorry, this one was passenger side, the other one was driver's side. And the third CV that I broke just popped the bell. So I was hoping this bell end was good and I could use this because I've got a good that end. I keep trying to build them back But that is funny. Not recommended. If you're seeing this in the background and you're not sure where it came from, that was in my new trail toy that I bought. So that carrier's totally farked in the Ace. But anyway, I digress. This one here was very tight. If you remember there on the truck just a minute ago, it wouldn't frickin' turn. Holy cow. It is also almost completely void of grease. But you see in there, can you see in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 balls if it would rotate at all. Oh, geez. Yeah, there's only 6 of those in the cage. 6 slots in the thing. Kind of like you see there. Kind of like you see there. Hopefully you see there. And yeah, so those new ones have 8. Bigger axles, the slidey axle thing, and 8 balls on this end too. Instead of the 3-way slidey thing, it's got an 8 ball because the 3-way here part gives you less before you hit the cage here, the body, than these do. You can get more on your outer end, so they use the ball bearing type outer end ones on both ends. Enough about that. Okay, so now you know why running one with a torn boot is bad, especially off-roading. You know why rebooting them and re-greasing them can be helpful, because that one end still was factory sealed, and it was certainly bad. But go out in your truck and have fun and do maintenance-y stuff like this. I mean, I ramble on a lot, but that doesn't take that long. I hope you saw while I was doing that, that's pretty freaking easy job, so don't be afraid. That's the thing most people are afraid of. I'm going to grease the things I can grease on this, change the tie rod end on my list. I love that spare tire carrier I built in the back too. I got a question about that. How'd I like it? Enough about that. Thanks for joining me out in the shop today. I certainly appreciate it. If you liked my show, like it. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Leave comments, click bells, whistle if you want to. I just appreciate you hanging with me. Have a super great day.